If you or your loved one is impacted by diabetes and have questions, the Barbados Diabetes Foundation has the answers.
It's always easier to reverse diabetes, certainly control it properly and avoid complications if you at least know that you have it.
But it's just again to re-emphasize the importance of good diabetic care. And diabetic care involves really almost every part of the body. So it's your feet, your heart. But again, we're coming back to what our main focus is at this time is the eye care.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren, St. Michael, is your source of diabetic care. You can reach them by calling 243-EYES, 243-3937 for more information.
It's another December Saturday on VOB 92.9 FM, and it's time for you to listen to 15 of the healthiest Christmassy minutes you will ever hear on your radio with the compliments of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program, the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, and the Barbados Community Foundation. This is Peter, the Christmas boys here. Greetings and Yuletide salutations to Larry and all our Larry friends who enjoy talking about all the old-time Bajan Christmases every Saturday. Well, it's time for you to now take a pause for a worthy, healthy cause, especially if you are diabetic or pre-diabetic. It's time to hear all about the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren, St. Michael, up there by Eunice Gibson Polyclinic. If you go to PriceSmart and Massey Supermarket going to Christmas shopping, you can just go right over to the Maria Holder Diabetes Center right there in Warrens. It is Christmas, and you know you're going to be walking around doing a lot of shopping and things. If you are diabetic, have you checked your feet recently? Because you know, once you're diabetic, you need to take good care of your feet. Maybe it's time for you to call and make an appointment with the podiatrist at the Diabetes Center. And what about your eyes? Once you are diabetic, you need to check every year for diabetic retinopathy. So you need to make an appointment for that too. The number to call, write it down. Get a piece of black letter, write it down. Put it in your phone. 243-3937. That's the number to call, and don't forget about vascular screening. Where if you're feeling like, I got bad circulation and my feet swell up and thing, maybe you need to make an appointment for a vascular screening. That number again, 243-3937. Good. It's time for a water break.
Drink more water.
The Diabetes Foundation is encouraging everyone to drink more water this Christmas. Just one more extra glass of water per day can make a big difference. So make sure and participate in this cool drink water initiative. So while you are drinking water and listening to VOB, the Diabetes Show, we are now going to go to the new General Manager of the Diabetes Foundation, Miss Marsha White. And I asked Marsha, how do you see the Diabetes Foundation impacting on Barbados' trend of NCDs, non-communicable diseases that we currently have? And Marsha took a sip of her glass of water, and then she said,
So these are many NCDs, non-communicable diseases, including heart disease, stroke, and certain cancers. They all share common risk factors with diabetes, such as obesity, poor diet, and physical inactivity. So by addressing the risk factors in the management of diabetes, we can simultaneously reduce the risk of these other NCDs. So can you imagine what happens if we turn things around by preventing and reversing diabetes? The whole health of Barbados, the productivity and the resources which can be allocated to other areas like roads and agriculture, because growing nutritious food and being more self-sustaining reduces our dependency on outside sources and creates whole new industries and businesses, creating prosperity, health, and the life that we all deserve, because we all deserve to live with health and vitality.
Thank you, new GM, Miss Marsha White, for sharing your vision with us this Saturday morning as we move on. Another reason for you to go to the Maria Holder Diabetes Center is so that you can have a consultation with diabetes specialists like Dr. Diane Braffett. And we are now going to hear from Dr. Braffett, and she is going to be breaking down exactly what diabetes is so that every everybody will be able to understand. Take a listen to Dr. Brathwaite.
So first of all, diabetes mellitus, so that is the proper or the full term for diabetes mellitus, is a basic what we call metabolic or medical condition whereby the levels of the glucose in the blood are elevated beyond the normal range. Some people refer to glucose as sugar, so everybody knows of it as the sugar. And it happens because you either have the absence or the impaired function of a hormone that helps us to process and balance out the sugars in our body. And that hormone is called insulin. We can jump very quickly into the main types. If you have an absolute absence of the insulin, you develop something called type 1 diabetes, and you have to actually replace it, the insulin, with insulin into your body to survive. If you don't have that insulin to survive, you'll actually get very sick and you can die. With type 2 diabetes, although the body is producing insulin, the insulin doesn't function effectively. So in essence, what happens, let's simplify this a bit more. When you eat sugar or a carbohydrate or a starch, all of these things go into the stomach, they're digested. And when you're digested, all those three things, sugars, carbohydrates, starch, we use them interchangeably. They're broken down into sugars. They then get absorbed and those sugars go into the blood system. When the body picks up, wait, there's too much sugar in my blood, the body then releases this hormone called insulin from an organ in the back of the abdomen. It's called the pancreas. And that insulin literally opens sugar channels throughout the whole body, in the muscle, in the brain, in the liver. And it makes these sugar channels almost like suck the sugar out of the blood and into these organs where they can either be stored or they can be used for energy. So in essence, somebody with diabetes, type 2 diabetes, doesn't have more absolute sugar in their body. The real issue is with how they transport it, or that inability to transport it to be utilized and burned up for various reasons. There can be a number of issues that exist with type 2 diabetes, which is why it's so different between different people. But essentially, that is what diabetes is. I would just want to say very quickly, I referred to diabetes as a metabolic disorder. And one of the challenges with that is when you have too much sugar in your bloodstream, because remember, blood goes from all over the body, from your head right down to your toe, to your nerves, to your liver, to your eyes. Sugar goes everywhere. So when you have it in excess, it deposits in places in your body and then starts to cause damage, either by damaging the vessels that supply that organ with blood to survive, or because it does direct damage because it is in excess there. So it can affect a lot of organs in the body, and we call that term for being able to affect a lot of things multisystemic. Okay, so I will just kind of round it off into that for you. Hopefully everybody can get some kind of visual, hopefully, by the way it was explained.
Thank you, Dr. Diane Brathwaite. I got a visual, and I know the people out there listening to VOB got a visual too. Time to drink some water.
Drink more water.
Now, if you like ham and you are diabetic, you are going to want to hear what nutritionist Victoria Cox has to say about ham eating coming up soon. So to get you in the mood for that ham segment, we are going to be playing a folk song. This is our song of the day. I know Larry gonna like this one. This is Trinidadian Calypsonian Scrunter, but in some parang in your Saturday morning with his Yuletide selection. A piece of pork. And remember, when you're eating, drink some water. Compliments, the Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Flowing through the atmosphere. Christmas song keep playing, parent group getting in line. I hope Santa bring me exactly what I have in mind. I want a piece of pork. I want a piece of pork. I want a piece of pork for me Christmas. I don't want no money cook. Give you callaloo. I want a piece of pork for me Christmas.
Drink more water.
I want a piece of pork for me Christmas. I don't want no money cook. Give you callaloo. I want a piece of pork for me Christmas.
Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243 Eyes, 243 3937.
As well, I reach in Toronto, or I pass through Mexico. Don't care wherever I go. One thing I want you know, I want a piece of pork.
Book your vascular or ABI screening test today by calling the Maria Holder Diabetes Center 243-3937.
I want a piece of pork for me Christmas. I want a piece of pork. I want a piece of pork. I want a piece of pork for me Christmas. I don't want no money food. Keep your color look. I want a piece of pork for me Christmas.
This is Alfonso here. I loves to eat ham. To me, Christmas is not Christmas unless I eating ham. So I would like to ask nutritionist with the Diabetes Foundation, Victoria Cox, to talk some ham and to tell me if since I is a diabetic and ham ain't got enough sugar, if I can eat as much ham as I want for Christmas.
So let's talk ham. Indeed, some might play devil's advocate and say that since I always focus on whether something is a carbohydrate or not as to why it should be, avoided or minimized for people with diabetes, that ham must be fine, right? Because ham is not a carbohydrate. It is not a starch. It is not a sugar. It is a mix of protein and fat. And so one could say, okay, cool. Well, if I have diabetes, I can go ahead and eat as much ham as I would like. And sure, I wouldn't expect ham to spike blood sugars, although the way that some people prepare ham, there might be sort of a sugary coating on the outside. You never know. But technically, ham is not a carbohydrate, so it is not going to directly sort of spike up blood sugar levels in the way that starches and sugars would. However, that does not mean that ham is qualified as something that is healthy. There are plenty of foods out there that are not carbohydrates, so they're not going to spike blood sugars, but it certainly doesn't mean that they're nutritious or healthy. So for ham, it's a processed meat. It's going to be high in sodium and other preservatives. It's going to be high in saturated fat. And so it is still something best to be enjoyed only in moderation. So correct, it will not go spike in blood sugar levels if you're living with diabetes, but we don't want that to be the reason that we overdo it, because it's still not exactly the healthiest food. And so, it's, like I said, best enjoyed only in moderation as part of a meal that hopefully otherwise has, healthy options like vegetables and salads. We want to remember that these things don't just disappear over the Christmas season, and we still want our meals to be nicely balanced and, overall high quality.
We now welcome to the show a patient of the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, Miss Dacia Moore.
Thank you for having me. I have had diabetes for just about 8 years now. I got it when I was really young. I can say it impacted my life pretty big, especially going through school and stuff. It was quite difficult back then.
What did you learn from being a patient of the Maria Holder Diabetes Center?
I learned that diabetes, don't limit yourself. It is not the end of the world, and that you can do everything a quote-unquote normal person can do. And as long as you have a good support system, you'll be okay. I utilize the diabetes specialist nurse, the podiatrist, the nutritionist. There's also a psychologist there as well. And of course, the doctor. The staff there, everybody there is really nice, and they're supportive, and they help me through a lot of my problems. They taught me about calorie counting, learning how to balance my meals so that I can still enjoy the sweet things and everything else that, as I said, quote-unquote, normal people can enjoy. They help me not to be insecure about having diabetes. It's something that I have to live with, and to love myself, to be confident in everything I do.
If you are looking for an institution that's dedicated exclusively to the management of diabetes in Barbados, that offers a range of services that caters to both diabetics and pre-diabetics, the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren St. Michael, is the answer for you. Whether it's diabetic eye screening, podiatry, or vascular screening, you will receive a level of service and treatment that exceeds any you might receive regionally or internationally. So if you are listening to your radio right now and need to make an appointment or need more information on any diabetic issue you might have, make that call now at 417-5980 or 243-3937. The last 15 eye-opening minutes you heard on VOB was brought to you with the compliments of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program in partnership with the Barbados Community Foundation and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. Until next time, remember, your health is your wealth.
Did you know nearly 1 in 5 adults in Barbados have diabetes? Did you know diabetes is one of the leading causes of vision loss in the world? Regular eye screening can save your eyes. Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243-3937. 3937. The Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program. Saving eyes, saving lives. Drink more water.